I'm ready to go, you two. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm ready.
What is Squish talking now?
If you, it's just I'm in chat. Oh, I didn't know we were on. Oh, I didn't know we were live already.
No, it just I started out. It's all good, man. But hey, with Squish talking, like we really appreciate that. Like she's not around the server very much.
The whole time I didn't aware that I've been smoking bowls.
Don't worry, I that didn't actually get on there, so you're all good. You're not promoting any inebriated drug use on a stream. You're in the clear.
All right, cool.
Technically, you know what? You might not have muted it. Did you mute the stream on your end?
Oh God.
Oh no, he's getting that double speak.
What is happening? I'm so confused.
Dude, it's the effects of the storm.
There's like 3 times of it playing at once, and I don't know where it's coming from. It's gone. It stopped. All right. I'm saying.
Well, you know, if it stopped, it stopped. You know, you're good. You're good. I don't know what to tell you. But hey, you know what? As long as we're not shut down tonight by the power of the hurricane that everybody has been fearing, dude, I can't walk 2 steps without someone in my state getting all upset over a hurricane. I live in Maine.
What's the name of this one?
I don't. Lenny is some shit. Leroy. I don't fucking know. They name hurricanes after everything. But that'd be fucking awesome in D&D. What if you got your players, you're doing a thing, and they have a big ass named storm. Like you can make the storm the big bad, and your big bad of a storm has a name. All of a sudden, you're fighting hurricanes. Oh, you had to look it up.
There are creatures that like can create things like that, so I don't see why not.
Dude, I had my players fight a storm once. It was a sentient storm. They were in an airship. Oh yeah, it was throwing boulders. It was just like gusts of wind, lightning everywhere. They had to like steer around shit, try to mitigate damage, shoot shit out of the air. Try to knock things away with magics. It was a wild time.
I don't know if this is the current one. Her name was Margot.
Margot? No, there's I do not think that's the current one.
All right. If we have anybody who is like what is it called? A weatherologist?
A meteorologist? You know what? Weatherologist sounds way more realistic. I mean,
you're a weather wizard. Tell us what it's called.
Yeah. Shout out to the weather wizards out there, because honestly, what the fuck, dude? It's just meteorologist. That sounds like you study meteors.
What do they call people that study meteors?
Astrologists?
I thought they were the ones.
Cosmologists?
Now to look this up. God damn it!
Damn. Welcome to Dungeons and Talkshows, the talk show that brings you hurricanes, monsters, news, and homebrews. I am your host, Orion.
And I am your host, Sam, here to bring you some new factual stuff. Did you know that the science that deals with meteors, meteorites, and meteoroids are called meteor critics? It's kind of sick.
Meteor critics, like, what do they judge them by the size of impact? Be like, okay, this one had like I'd give that impact about a 5 out of 10. You know, it didn't really stick the landing, but it had a lot of heart.
Right. And
Fucking
then, like, people who study like minerals and like the geometry of like space rocks and stuff are called like cosmochemists. And like
what? Why is it not astrogeologist?
Oh man.
How is it not astrogeologist?
Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Also, TheGnomeDepot just died from the call.
He'll be back.
Yeah. I know people are probably like, who the fuck is TheGnomeDepot? That is our guest for today. And he will...
he's back. He's back.
Ah, nice.
He lives! Just in time to introduce himself.
Yeah, speak of the Gnome Depot. You can go ahead
Hi. My name is Mark Walton, and I work at the Gnome Depot.
No correlation to Home Depot.
Passing resemblance.
Distant cousins.
Yeah, right. So, is it along the same lines of like a store that you go into to buy?
D&D department stores. I am on board already.
Yeah. I go in there and get like a dwarven hammer or something.
Dude, I want to throw my players like I had this encounter I planned for the longest time where if my players come into the real world, like they'll get thrown into, first off, they'll be thrown into a strange area, and I'll describe it in the most awkward way possible, very roundabout. They're going to be in the center of Disney World, but
no.
Yeah, so you can imagine how that's going to be very strange for anyone involved. Like, oh, you see the humanoids walking all around you, dressed in clothing that you're not quite familiar with, a foreign style, with these strange plate-like figure. These strange plate-like contraptions attached to their heads as they're walking around, you know, like, and you just kind of like lean into that, and then you see a dragon swooping around on a rail with a bunch of screaming peasants, you know.
Will you draw your weapons?
and everyone's just kind of like walking past you, like a kid tries to hug the kobold of the party, you know. You start out like that, but then one thing leads to another. They get out of the Disney park once they realize where they're at, and if they want to go and buy stuff from the human world here, then they can stop by a Cash for Gold place at the corner of a strip mall. Cash in. Yeah. So you go to the Cash for Gold, you cash in your gold for cash, and then also on the same strip mall, in my mind, I plan to have a Home Depot or like a Lowe's or some shit where it's like they go in and like maybe they get to the garden section, like, oh, look at this. This is an excellent price for a hammer. I don't know what the conversion rate is here. Well, normally it would be like so many gold, but dude, this is like a couple copper for a good hammer.
There's no magical enchantments on this.
Well, technically.
Dude, once the barbarian gets his hands on a chainsaw, you know.
Oh my god.
You know, I personally think a reverse isekai portal rift trip to Florida is a great way to get things going with your party. You throw them into Disneyland, you describe it weirdly, they go to the fucking Cash for Gold place, and then to the Home Depot that's on the same lot for the strip mall, and like, you know, if you really want to like jazz things up, you could have them get into altercations with the police, maybe some Cubans. Maybe you know, like maybe they piss off some gangbangers or whatever.
Oh yeah, like a gang or something.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the drywallers. Just mess with the drywallers. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you don't fuck with them. Also, don't fuck with the guys that do the tile. Like they work really hard. They don't take shit.
No.
But yeah,
Um,
and the cool thing is, if you throw them into a Home Depot or situation there, you don't really have to describe the Home Depot too much. You can, but the cool thing is, like, anything that they might want to buy there, they could literally just be like, oh, I'm going to go and buy some duct tape. Artificer with an entire shopping cart worth of duct tape.
right. Oh, man. You try taking like that fantasy world knowledge, like the real world scenario.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's one of those
What
things where it breaks the fourth
Hey,
wall in the best way
sufficiently
possible.
Advanced technology. A sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Exactly. And
so if you take that into consideration, and that's what I take into consideration when I'm coming up with my items, is that, sure, it's a mundane item here where I live, but I mean, a chainsaw would be freaking, a plus
Right?
3 fully Avenger in the right hands.
That would be a high value magic weapon at that point, like to do the same thing that a chainsaw could do.
Shit, and all you have to do is keep fueling it up with like this little gas stuff. Okay.
No, it's just you just
Or
use
you can
alchemist
just, like-
fire. What do you think
Yeah.
that stuff is?
You just
Yeah.
pump up your mana into it or something,
Yeah, you just buy a vial of alchemist fire and you dump it into the tank, and you're good for another week.
You know what? I will absolutely rule that alchemist fire replaces gasoline in any 2-stroke engine.
Exactly. You don't even have to mix in the oil. You don't need to buy a flask of oil and a flask of oil.
Although the
Then
oil
mix
would be
it.
good to keep everything kind of lubed up. You should absolutely keep your chainsaws lubricated.
Yeah.
Dude.
But WD-40,
I'm loving it.
WD-40 in a medieval society would be like liquid gold.
Yes.
Finally, your paladins will make their stealth checks.
Holy shit. I love it. It's beautiful. The magic of WD-40.
The WD-40, yeah, it's just like you just look at an item that you have in your house, right? And you say, okay, if I took this item and I took it over to, a low-tech society and showed them how to use it, how much of that would look like magic? Absolute magic.
For sure. I mean, I'm just like looking around my desk now. Like, how many of these things are straight magical? Like, boom. Sunglasses
Well,
right
it's not
here.
like you
the
understand all the
basis of,
technology
like-
that goes into every item, right?
Yeah, I mean the basis
Right?
of like electricity, for example, is magic. Like,
It really is. Like, dude, we managed to harness plasma. And like in a traditional fantasy setting, you need to be a high level mage to be able to harness lightning.
yeah.
Fucking lightning, man.
I also feel like in the same situation they would kind of be like, I don't know, they would feel like a disrespect towards like the elements, and nature for for this kind of transition. I think that could be a very interesting interaction.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what, this isn't natural. The way you use magic is wrong.
Yeah. The ever-present argument that's typically thrown towards necromancy. How dare you bring back the dead? That's the dad. Necromancer with daddy
The dad
issues.
should be left alone.
I don't care that your father died while you were at a tender age. The necromancer's not helping you today.
So, Mr. Gnome Depot.
His mic cut out from the looks of it. I don't know.
And God damn. Rest in peace.
We couldn't iron out all the issues, but we certainly did try. Oh, it's working. It's good.
Okay, now we're going.
Yes.
All right, so
Sure,
imagine
Ken will
the
be able to
economics
fix
of necromancy, right?
Yeah.
You're a necromancer. What is your most valuable item that you have?
Labor.
Valuable item?
Bones.
Bodies.
Bodies, right? So you go around the
With
town.
a dime a dozen.
Hey, sell your grandma.
I'll buy the corpses of your.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? With bury them?
I-
I mean, instead.
Reduce,
my money,
reuse,
I want
recycle.
Yeah, why not? I mean, shit.
Grandma is
Save
my
you
money.
the trouble of burying these people and just hand them over.
Exactly. And if
I-
I'm like using it as forced labor or corvée labor, as you might want to call it, because like slavery sounds a little extreme.
Right.
Well, it's interesting you say that because there's a real life example of this. I believe it was in Haiti. I could be wrong, but there is a entire process like. There was a guy that survived it and managed to escape. But what these voodoo witch doctor dudes would do is they would find a victim and they would poison them so that they're in a near death state. Like they appear dead.
Pufferfish.
Yeah, like everyone thinks they're dead. So they go, they have the funeral, they're buried, and while they're buried, they're suffering from oxygen starvation. So that's causing brain damage. The necromancer voodoo witch doctor motherfucker pops in. He digs up the body later on that day, takes the dude out, gives him whatever herbs he's got packing to get the motherfucker back up on his feet. But now this dude's brain damaged, poisoned, and then you're all hopped up on whatever drugs the voodoo guys got thereafter, and then taken away to a little farm where they're forced to do all this labor in a zombified vegetative state.
Yeah, basically like, almost like a mind control.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
like that's how real world zombies have been done. Like I think the guy that escaped in like maybe the 50s or 60s or something. I forget. Like I read it years ago, but
There's a movie about the Rainbow.
Yeah, there is.
Rainbow.
Yeah.
It's a weird movie.
I mean,
it's a really weird movie.
The concept that you would just take somebody's like it's not enough to just enslave somebody, but to pacify, zombify, and just eliminate the like brain damage someone. Like, dude.
Yeah, like it's like lobotomizing them. I think.
Yeah.
If I had to,
it's like,
dude.
It's like you have people that have that have to take orders, right? That don't have any consciousness of their own, and they have to be instructed in everything that they do. It's like, well, yeah, that's kind of what we have when you have a zombie or you're giving commands to an undead creature. I mean, you have an equivalency there.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I've been thinking about doing an undead campaign where it's basically an analogy of corvée labor, and it's like, well, how evil do I need to make my people, my villainess? Let's see. Undead? Okay.
I'm looking at the chat over here. Let's see. Dark A says, "Hey boss, Huggy has the stream on PC3 in Loss Prevention Office." Hey, shout out to
probably Steve. Steve.
The Gnome Depot is on top dog over here.
Hi, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Hope you're enjoying so far.
I make no promises to Steve that we're professional in any capacity.
We try our best. You have fun while doing it. That's what matters.
Exactly. But speaking of other fun things, before we jump into our monster for the week, I wanted to highlight this. Dude, there's a you remember way back when we had Craig on the show and we were talking about that Morgborg game. It was like a TTRPG thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the guy that created that has made a DuckTales RPG.
All right, DuckTales, love it.
Dude, DuckTales tabletop called Duckborg.
All right. God. You have my attention.
It basically it follows along like the initial stuff that you see in like the.
Show this to you. I'm sorry. It was Chris. It was Chris that did it. I just got a notification. Sorry, Chris.
Oh no! Got the name, but no.
Hey. Oh fuck. I'm sorry.
I feel nothing.
So let me get this straight. If you did that game, do I get to dive into the pile of gold like Scrooge McDuck?
Yeah.
Because like if I can't do that, then I don't want to play that game.
Yeah,
So,
honestly.
like, how does it work? Do you have to play a duck? Do you have to be one of the kids? Like, what's it?
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yeah.
You get to make your own character because, like, obviously you'd be doing that. So you get to get your own character. The DM would probably has to take the painstaking time to learn to be Scrooge McDuck for the campaign. But yeah, get that voice.
All you need is a Scottish accent. All you need is a bit of a Scottish accent. So you could be fine.
It's gotta be
You'll do fine.
He's got it.
Trust me, boy. I tell you, if you just follow around with a Scottish accent, you'd be doing fine.
good. Too good already.
Well, yeah, honestly, that's really good.
It's like, finally.
I'd say anyone who grew up with DuckTales, when going back to the age-old advice, if you're going to run a game, run something you know well. If you know DuckTales well, just run a DuckTales game.
This is why for so long I've been wanting to either participate in like a Digimon campaign or like the Soul Eater one. Like,
dude, I want to do the Soul Eater one so bad because it's just fun.
I know, right?
Oh,
So,
man.
any DMs out there that want to run this when they get a chance and the Kickstarter's fully under funded and everything, just not underfunded, underway and funded. There we go. Let your players dive into the mountain of gold. Okay, just there's no point otherwise.
Well, I mean, I do like that guy's artwork. It's just fantastic.
Oh, it is.
It's got some high quality artwork in that, in his workboard stuff. So it's like I could expect that. But black and white and DuckTales, I just don't know how it works without like actually seeing the picture.
Yeah, I need to see a little bit more. I did also hear about this Adventure Time one. I'm very curious.
We did talk about that before. I love Adventure Time stuff because like Adventure Time's so whimsical, and like the guy that the dude that was doing the candy homebrew for Pathfinder that we had on, I love that setting.
Right.
Oh yeah, the Brendan Lee Mulligan's version of Candyland from Dimension 20 is awesome.
Yeah, like that's what inspired this guy to start with. Then he just started homebrewing and then never stopped, and it just kept getting better and better.
Won't stop.
Honestly, you can't fault a guy for trying.
But Adventure Zone, are we talking about including the other campaigns that the Taz guys do, or is it just because like they had this whole thing for West Virginia that was pretty damn awesome campaign setting.
West Virginia as a campaign? What?
They did a West Virginia style campaign that was sort of like I would think it would be like a Stranger Things meets West Virginia meets 80s kids, you know?
Interesting.
I don't know what to say to that, but I'm intrigued.
Neither.
It is.
What does the West Virginia like?
It's the setting. It's basically the setting where they grew up in. And so it's they just used what they knew, and they used it as background. Like if you live in Maine, right?
Yeah.
And, all right. So everything that's Castle Rock, I mean, like everything that Stephen King even put piece of paper on, it's just free game for you to play with.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you don't use it, you are doing yourself a disservice because this is something that you know as in, like, this is my personal history. It's like I could go back and say, I know Southeast New Mexico. Right. Not a lot of things been written about it, but boy, I can tell you all about it.
I bet there's some great stuff you could pull out of that. Like, back to my example of Maine, dude, spooky shit goes on up here. And, like, the media portrays it as spooky shit all the time, just nonstop. You got anything by Stephen King. You got The Iron Giant. You got that fucking show where they call every supernatural thing that happens the Troubles. Like, what the fuck are the Troubles, dude?
I've never heard of it.
Then there's Storybrooke, which is all like little storybook Disney type character shit, like any Grimm's fairy tale princess bullshit you've ever heard of. Yeah, that's Storybrooke, and it's all like spooky and shit. And then like you got it just the list keeps going on and on. Yeah, like they got that old school monster soap opera, Dark Shadows, that took place in Maine, where vampires, werewolves, all kinds of spooky shit. Anytime there's media depicting Maine, except for like some shit films like Empire Falls, it's always spooky shit.
Yeah, I mean, Maine is just a really good setting for it, I guess.
So where do you have your what area do you know that you can like use as your backdrop for your campaign? That you could just pull out of thin air, that you could just like, I could spend the next hour and a half talking about it. From where you live.
See, for me, I think about things like, so I live in South Jersey.
So you have the Jersey Devil.
Yeah. I definitely thought of it. Pine
You have the
Barrens,
Jersey Devil.
I
You
thought
have
about
Bruce
like,
Springsteen.
Philadelphia, New York. Yeah.
You have Bon
There's a
Jovi.
lot of-
You got the Sopranos.
True. I don't know too much about that kind of stuff, but yeah. True.
Gotham City is supposed to be in New Jersey.
True.
And that's why it's it's a crime-ridden cesspool.
I always thought it was supposed to be like New York or something.
No. That's Metropolis is New York.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So and
so wait, would that make Gotham City like Philadelphia?
I don't know, but I'm trying to figure out which one would be Star City and Central City.
Oh, you're right.
Star City and Central City would probably be some sort of tech.
No, I think they're in different states.
I know they're in different states. It's always weird because, like, I believe that Metropolis is supposed to be not too far from
in Seattle.
What? Seattle's not a state.
No, what you need to do is think of something
Star
that's
City
technologically advanced. So, like, what Los Angeles used to be for the aerospace industry. You know,
right?
I see that.
Right. So you think of that where you have a lot of scientists together in one place, like Los Alamos in New Mexico. Ooh. You have a lot of scientists in a small area, right, that do experiments that mutant. It's like that's where you got Bruce Banner from.
Dude, that straight brings me to thinking of Black Mesa, because like Half-Life fan all the way, you know?
Right.
I don't know how accurate this is, but this one says Star City is in Oregon near Portland. National City is right
that would
around
make sense because, like, if you think of Apple and things all sitting around.
Black Lightning Films is in Georgia. That makes sense. Gotham is by Chicago. Metropolis, surprisingly, is not New York, but it's in Maryland, closer to Baltimore. I could see that.
Yeah, because like it realistically, it's got to be closer to Kansas in some way. Because
they're all like in that area.
Yeah, it's got to be closer to the Kent family farm. You know, so it's got to be driving distance.
The guy can fly around the world in like a matter of seconds, and you're worried about how close he is.
Well, I watched a lot of Smallville growing up, so I'm just like, okay, they're getting back and forth between this Metropolis and Smallville relatively in a decent time, like at least an hour. That's like how long it takes me to get to the nearest city, Bangor. So.
Like they're always like, "Oh, we got to go to Gotham." It's like a 6-hour flight. Like,
fuck Gotham. Like, dude, what are you doing to just have all like this much crime? Like, Batman's out there beating the shit out of people on the daily, and people are still out there causing trouble. Like, Who wants to trifle with Batman? Like, are you crazy, dude?
Breaking every bone in your body. Like,
I'll go knock over a bank in a small town. Fuck that shit. Well, worst I gotta deal with in a small town is some hick with a shotgun. Much better than dealing with Batman.
I'm sorry, I just don't imagine that that the insane asylum, Bedlam or what are they?
Arkham.
Arkham. It's got to be full of wheelchairs. It's just got to be. It's just got to be like chock full of people in wheelchairs.
Oh my god!
You know what?
He's like,
Batman would be he'd be way more effective.
He doesn't kill. He'll make them live forever in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll paralyze him real quick.
Dude, if he just stole every time he captures a criminal, if he just stole everyone's left patella, that's the kneecap.
Yeah. God, the bronze kneecap.
The true origin story.
The bronze kneecap.
I love the bronze kneecap.
Dude, the origin story of the Crimson Chin was what got me. Where he's like, my chin is tingling. I am the Crimson Chin. Well, bitten by a radioactive handsome actor. Fairly Odd Parents was ahead of its time with its comedy.
It really was. It really was. I mean, it's like, that's.
I guess before we get too lost in our sauce, what other news? Yeah.
We can circle back to that. What do we? Yeah.
You want to talk about Baldur's Gate for the next half hour?
I've been thinking about getting Baldur's Gate and maybe making it one of our series on our maybe a stream. I'm not sure.
Hey,
I'm thinking about it.
This is going to be a problem for us DMs because people use like Skyrim characters and other characters from video games. So you have to get familiar with like the kind of characters that that your players want to play. So I kind of have to figure out what are these characters that they're basing their character off of, when they come to me, because I know that that's what's going to be next. It's like I'm going to get a vampire that's going to be really good looking, that's going to have a tadpole in his eye, that doesn't get burnt up by the sun until the end of the.
He's gonna be like, I'm the dark one.
Yeah, I'm edgy.
Oh God, the 13th dark one this year. Come on, please.
I mean, dude. Let's face it. If I was a villain, I'd be trying to find out who the chosen one.
Oh, Nani?
Trying to find the chosen one. Probably take him out.
The bad guy got him.
He's gonna find the chosen one and he's gonna kiss him.
No, you find out Tinder dates and then you set him up with someone else. That way you don't end up with it. You say that way they never have the chosen one.
It's brilliant. I mean, there's a lot of life hacks along that route. I mean, whether it's using your Tinder dates to find the chosen one. My dad recently discovered a new life hack. By telling everybody that he's engaged, he can avoid interactions with women that harass him all the time. So he's just like, okay, yeah, I don't want to deal with that shit. So I'll tell on Facebook I'm engaged. So lots of them will back off. But then the ones that kind of slip through that really want to get at him, like after he goes and does his thing, he can be like, oh no, you have to go, my fiance is gonna be here soon.
Is this what
you make something sound detrimental?
If I'm wrong for this. Isn't this what women do when they're like, I have a boyfriend?
Well, yes, but he's achieved that power. He has gone into he snuck into their base and stole it for himself.
He stole a sacred text.
Yes, he stole the MacGuffin.
He's got the golden ticket.
Learn the forbidden jutsu.
That's the cool thing about Naruto with those forbidden jutsu. It turns out it's not that you're not allowed to do them. It's just that you really shouldn't because they usually come at a cost.
Right, yeah. People usually
No, it
aren't,
just
like,
takes out like
capable
about
of
half
it.
of the episode to like power it up. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's
Like I looked into it. Like the only reason that the shadow clone jutsu was supposed to be a forbidden jutsu is just like because it was very chakra intensive. So it's like, okay, you gotta spend a lot of energy on this one. Don't use it. That's forbidden. You're a dipshit if you do this.
It had the potential, of applied usage. Somebody in the wrong hands with a shadow clone could do some crazy shit.
Ooh, you know what? I need to start labeling certain spells in my D&D games as forbidden spells.
Yeah, we need to do that more often.
Silvery Bards.
Yeah.
Going down. You're going down, Silvery
Yeah, like you instead of having a banned spell list, have a forbidden spell list where you have to work to get those spells. Like you have to steal them from somebody. Like you got to obtain that knowledge.
Well, aren't you supposed to do that anyways? I mean,
yeah, for the most part.
you are supposed to like kind of research what you're doing. I mean,
If
it's
you're a
not like
wizard,
sorcerer. Well, if you're a sorcerer, it just comes with the,
Right.
with the birth certificate. I
I think
mean,
it's still kind of like the still version of themselves. Like, yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people are like, I have these spells, I just kind of got them. Like how? They're like, I don't know, I'm a wizard. Like,
I like the idea of having to go and obtain your spells outside of being a wizard. Like, if you're a druid, you need someone to teach you this spell.
or like you taught yourself or something. Like you were taught by the spirits or something. Like,
Yeah, like you gotta go
pray for
commune
it,
with certain spirits to get access to a forbidden spell. Like maybe you homebrew some of your spells. It's like, okay, this spell comes at a cost. It's forbidden, but it's really good.
yeah, I would let people homebrew spells more often if that was the case, for sure.
don't you like at least flavor your spells?
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely do.
As a player character, you should be able to flavor your spells to how it would like be stylish for your
Oh yeah, I always love
right?
when people do that.
I mean, I would do so much with wind. I mean, I would just go to town with wind because there would be so much beans. There would be so many beans that I'd be popping out. Well, that's one of the material components to it is a legume. So it's a bean or a pea or something like that.
He's
So
just
it's like-
throwing out lentils.
I'm throwing lentils. I got a pinto.
Act of the
today, boy.
beans.
Whips out a full bag of red kidney.
Didn't we talk about the damn coffee warlock packed of the bean?
Dude. IDBN, he puts out some fun homebrew.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, you don't want me to start doing characters because like I would go to town on that.
Oh, well, in that case, we encourage it.
It's like I was like, oh man, the past few days I've been going like, oh man, I can't. No, that's a good idea, but I already did it. That's a good idea. I already did that.
Revisiting the classics, it's like, shit.
Nah,
Recycling them shower thoughts.
I'm like going, no, what the heck? I'm like repeating myself every once in a while. I'm like going, oh no, dude. I stopped in the middle of one like the other day going, I already did this one.
I've done that too. Ultimately, when I do that, I just take whatever I made previously, have a little bit of a look at it, be like, I can do better. And then I'll like change it up. It's just like, okay, this is more balanced. I was an idiot before. Sam, what do we got for the monster this week?
Oh yeah. Tonight I have prepared to talk about the Naga.
Naga. Dude, the first time I used a Naga as a DM, one of the guys in your party fucked the Naga.
Yeah, he did.
He ate a magic candy to give himself a second dick, and not even one day into being Johnny Two Dicks, and he fucks a Naga.
Yep. And after having the worst experience of his life and being traumatized, didn't he like die or something? I don't remember.
No, he proceeded to live a long career of dancing mimes out of their career and crashing weddings.
Right. Was that the one where we did a band?
Dude, that was a wild one. Yeah, that was the band one. And if you remember correctly, when he went to go down below deck with the Naga after they successfully rescued it, the people on the ship were taking bets.
Oh yeah. We also got into the betting, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? I mean, there's so many things incompatible with Giant Naga and Clyde Monkey Man.
Oh.
That sounds like a Harryhausen like kind of nightmare fuel right there. I'm sorry. It's just oh my.
Wow.
No,
There's
we talked about it a little bit in the first pictures. Nagas resembled giant snakes with heads that bore a humanoid resemblance. They typically range from 10 to 20 feet, 3 to 6.1 meters in length, and weighed around 291. Though some were known to be over 100 feet, 30 meters in length. Long boys.
I would say so.
You know, and what's really cool about Naga of
And so you should.
So yeah, I know, right? So going into the real life mythology here, in traditional Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, Naga. Thank you.
Okay.
But we got an educated guest tonight.
Is half human and half cobra. They are a strong, handsome species who can assume either wholly human or wholly serpentine form and are potentially dangerous but often beneficial to humans.
Often beneficial.
I mean, which is filled with resplendent palaces, beautifully ornamented with precious gems. The creator deity Brahma relegated the Nagas to the nether regions when
to the nether regions.
Commanded them to bite only the truly evil or those destined to die prematurely. They are also associated with waters, rivers, lakes, seas, and wells. Nagas are often represented. The Naga king Muchalinda,
Muchalinda,
who sheltered the Buddha from rain. Buddhas, what are now Thailand and Cambodia. In, how'd you say it again? Jainism?
Jainism.
Here, Thankara, who is a savior who has succeeded in the Parshavantha is also known with a canopy of Naga heads. Which was
Yeah.
And he was often, shown with having several Naga heads.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Look, dude, you're a Hydra at that point.
There are a lot and Hydras.
The interesting thing is that how the juxtaposition of like that, because the same sort of civilization was already in India at the time. That when you had Alexander coming in and you had that Hellenistic influences that came into with Buddhism and Jainism and not really Confucianism, but the such. That influence actually came back into Western folklore.
Ooh, I love that kind of shit. Like Alexander the Great wasn't about to just go and destroy everything in his wake. He's like, no, we got to assimilate. And
no,
he
needs a tax. He wants the money.
Yeah.
He goes in, he takes shit, but like he doesn't destroy everything. No. So it's like I gotta respect the not not burning every bridge you cross, you know?
You know, when you get to the Forgotten Realms here, to understand what Naga really are and where they come from, why don't we start with the creator? Three greater goddess of the Naga, a deity whose many personas parallel the concept she represented, multiplicity of being. The Naga Queen embodies the stage of life and Shakinster was a wisdom seeker, its chair, its keeper, its creator, and ultimately wisdom itself. Was a truly complicated deity. Her complexity paralleled her great wisdom. She was highly pragmatic, explorer, a harsh hoarder, sometimes guiding the unwise and utterly destroying them at others.
Very whimsical.
Yeah, was very. It was kind of depicted heads. To be kind of as this kind of depiction of being very multifaceted, like it says. Despite many separate beings, but the reflections of one, each of an undeniable part of the overarching intelligence that was the Naga Queen. It was the mere existence evident. Queen, overall,
Yeah, I'd agree.
But you could kind of tell, you know.
Yeah, we're going for true neutral on that one.
And
makes
sense.
sense.
Anyone who has seen the short. While it was clear to what alignment the Seeker, Weaver, and Acquirer represented, chaotic good, chaotic evil, and lawful evil respectively, it was debatable whether or not the empower. So all of this means, you know, the aspects of what this entity and God can embody. You know,
this is a river god. It floods. It kills people. It doesn't care. You know, it's a true neutral.
It makes sense. Like, yeah, it makes sense that a snake-like being would be some kind of river god-like entity. Because, like, I mean, rivers are snaky, you know.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, even the evil aspect. The acquirer hoarded knowledge in danger of being lost, and the Weaver advocated destruction. Kind of tied to true neutral with that. Technology that I love so much.
Complicated.
Yeah, that is complicated. But yeah, you guys understand that a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit here, as there are kind of a lot of different kind of knowledge. So you have kind of the
let's hear it.
Then you get like the waters, I believe, have like very, very pretty, you know, scales and such, and their, you know, spellcasting ability, though they are all spellcasters, I'm pretty sure. To the minor subspecies, like ones that I haven't even really heard of, honestly, the Bainalar Naga, the Naga,
yeah,
Bone Naga, you know, normally created as guardians. A similar looking creature created as Spirit Naga.
Yeah, because like there's a lot. The Bone Nog is one of the first things that comes to my mind, just because it stands out so much.
Right. undead. You know?
Naga
But
the
isn't the
undead.
Nagas really supposed to be immortal anyways? I mean, you kill them and they come back.
Yeah.
That's some Greek shit right there.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure how that really. Maybe one version of them is kind of like that. Maybe the
Probably the Guardian one.
Yeah.
That would make
Yeah.
more sense because then you could put.
Because for awful good ones.
If I remember correctly, like the Guardian Nagas will exist as long as their task is still there to be completed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as there's like their task to like guard. For long.
Yeah, they'll just stick to it.
Naga are kind of the same way. So Nagas and their deities were perceived as having distinct sexes. They were an entirely hermaphroditic species. The Naga could reproduce
Interesting.
by simply by impregnating itself. No method was preferred over the other, and the choice of method came down to convenience or personal preference. It's not a cold climate. Had in regards to reproduction, the concept of mates held far less importance amongst Nagas compared to other creatures.
Huh. Interesting.
Getting into their kind of belief system a little bit here. Obviously they kind of worship this Shakeister,
The Keister.
They all worship the world serpent. Some theologians speculated that their curiosity and questioning over his many facets of the world. A lesser goddess that fragmented from him, and her son Parafair, Beneller, Naga?
Not sure.
Another.
So majority of them worship the world serpent or Shakeister, or
The Keister.
That's a common belief system in like a lot of cultures. I mean, you have the world serpent that's Norse. You have you have Tiamat, which is the Babylonian, Assyrian gods, and you have in a society where you're basically on the Indus River or Sindus River, depending on which way you want to do it. You have your other river goddess.
Yeah, and I believe that there was some Aztec equivalents in Mayan as well.
Yeah.
Not that I could put a name to it.
Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, that's the one.
Is feathered serpent.
Yes.
So you have this cultural bias towards the serpent whenever you're dealing with a even Set. If you think about it, even Set as a serpent. So anytime once you have a river culture, it's a good place to put a river god.
Absolutely.
They can cover so many things, and they're always very powerful. Like even being a lesser deity that this one is,
Yeah.
I mean, if we're worthy.
abilities here, as there are so many different types of Nagas, it's hard to kind of pin down a specific stat block to talk about. But there is as well as specific abilities. Guardian Nagas CR10 lawful good. For example, Mace Pit Poison, while the Spirit Naga CR10 lawful. This carries over the purpose and
Not like that ever stopped.
Right.
yeah, they can still learn. Majority of Naga are large, mid to high CR monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have for Naga for today. There's both a lot and not a whole lot on them.
It's a weird juxtaposition, but ultimately, from what we got here, I would say if I was to put an IRL fight score on this one, that's gonna be I'd put that up there at like an 8 or a 9, because that's just, dude. You seriously about to fight a giant snake man, dude? Like, that's too much.
Even if you get like the basis form of like the Naga, chances are they're gonna be a pretty high level spell.
Yeah, they got magics and they can crush you with their muscles. I'm done. I'm out.
Nothing would make me happier than to run up against a Naga, because I know for damn sure whatever it's guarding, it's worth it.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be so worth it. I mean, it's like, oh, we got a Naga? Right on. Oh, come on. We'll just resurrect. Come back again.
If you were to take on a Naga, you'd have to like set some kind of a trap. Like you gotta ambush these things. Like you can't just like fight them head on.
Well,
you'd have to be pretty strong to take them outright.
So you got time for prep. Maybe you can out prep.
Well, if it works for Batman, it can work for me.
For Batman. Hope you guys enjoyed the little segment. I think a little more love. Let's try. Really related, but a little bit related,
Same thing. They just have an upper body.
Yeah.
Right.
They're a little more.
Yeah.
I did find in my research, I did find a lot of Nagas like races, like homebrewed, I guess.
People are very interested in those kind of things, and honestly, homebrewing monster races is basically a thing as old as D&D itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to get sued by TSR.
Dude. Rest in peace, TSR.
Oh, it's not like you wouldn't get sued by WotC at this point either. So
they're not above it.
They'll just steal it from you. That's all, and then you have to go do a lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, little do they know that they don't own D&D. D&D is owned by the community. It is ours.
I wish they could figure that one out. I mean, at this point, we're just basically the advertising arm of D&D for
honestly. Like they're sitting out there trying to see how can we make money from a bunch of nerds sitting at a table playing pretend.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really thought you were going to own that one?
Well, it's not like the good old days where they just sell you minis. It's like you're going to have to buy the minis and the books, and then now you're going to have to buy the VTT, and you're going to definitely get Baldur's Gate. So they're getting money however they are.
They should just be selling 3D printers and material for the 3D printers, like high quality material to get your minis right.
That's where they're going to have that's where the bootleg market comes from.
Lean into it. You know exactly what your people are doing.
Yeah.
Man, I just want minis made out of dinosaur bone already.
Well,
I've seen those mammoth bone dice, and I'm like going, I'm really freaking tempted.
Dude.
Oh, they're so cool.
What's the most exotic dice that you have on that subject?
I would think that if I was going to go really balls to the wall, kind of crazy expensive, Narwhal.
Ooh.
Narwhal bone dice. That would be so crazy,
that'd be cool.
Freaking expensive. And that it would be so illegal in like everywhere except Russia.
You know what? I like your gusto for that one.
It would be
like straight from a volcano or something like a rock from space. A meteor.
Ooh,
meteorite?
That's some cool shit.
Like meteorite dice.
Someone makes that stuff. There's gotta be.
There's no way there isn't, because that's just awesome and a half, dude. Like, I've seen websites that make dice out of exotic woods and gator bones.
Yeah, why not?
I'd like to get like a set of like some made from a amethyst or something, made from crystals. I love crystals.
Yeah, we need more gem dice.
Yeah, but it's like getting those facets. It's like dealing with how easily they break. I mean, if you had like original D&D dice and ever played with them for any period of time, you know how quickly those corners wear off on cheap dice, and I would cry if I've been.
Some things on it.
That's fair enough. The most wild dice I own currently are some dice that were made with powdered uranium.
You got depleted uranium dice? What are you, anti-personnel? You're like shooting tanks with that die?
Well, you see, my dad's a bit of a mad lad. He self-proclaimed mad scientist of sorts.
Oh, you're just like one bad experiment away from becoming a supervillain right now, aren't you?
I certainly hope so. My only issue with the uranium dice I have is like I know how to store them and everything, and they're safe to roll with because they're the equivalent of cosmic radiation at sea level as far as if you measure it on a Geiger counter. So they're objectively not that dangerous, but you don't want to be holding them constantly.
Oh, you definitely don't want to swallow them, that's for sure.
Certainly not. I mean, if not for the uranium, for the fact that it's made with resin, and I guess my main gripe is that I haven't had a full set made. Like, it's like half a set. So
you have like a 120-sided dice, a 6-sided dice, and a 10-sided die?
Exactly. You get it.
Because it makes sense on the size-wise.
Ooh, we should do a thing.
Does it have like the rainbow sheen to it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty.
Really cool looking.
Ooh, dude, bismuth would make amazing dice. It's a terrible material for it, but damn if it wouldn't be pretty.
Don't roll those. Your dice jail for your depleted uranium ought to be awesome too. What is it, lead lined?
Dude, the presentation of having uranium dice with a lead lined case. It's like, okay, welcome to my home. The Dungeon Master's here to play. And for that big boss battle, you want your players to know you're not fucking around. You bust out the uranium dice.
Oh,
what are you, freaking Oppenheimer at this point? What, you got a demon core on us? He pulls out the demon core on us and it's like takes out half of New Mexico.
How legal do you think it would be to make another set and do like a giveaway with the podcast? Probably not.
At the post office.
Supposed to have?
Meanwhile, back over at the federal government.
Hey, our FBI agents are flipping through their books like,
I think he's somewhere in Maine. Let's just throw it out there.
The FBI ain't ready for me. Get me in the interrogation room, and here I am, just like
we'll wait until after that
rolling dice.
Hits that place and see if we can find them dice that time. Now, I'll tell you that much.
Dude, all I know is the storm's been fucking with my internet this entire time. It's like, okay, things kind of go in and out. I'm like, shit. I want to hear what Sam's saying.
I've heard the conspiracy machine is doing some stuff.
It's just because we didn't pay the bill over in Alaska for those dang antennas.
You know what? I blame the aliens because you know what? They've had it too good for too long.
That's what the thing.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. No. Seriously,
Sounds
it's not like they had like a whole big thing called the Black Plague or anything like that happened in Russia, right? It's not like it came somewhere in like Crimea.
Nah, couldn't possibly.
like we found this dead virus. I wonder what happened. We like feeding amoeba to eat it. Interesting.
There's only one way to find out.
This is the lousy thing, is that those viruses probably had brothers and sisters that evolved to the point to where we had immunity to their brothers and sisters and their uncles and aunts and their cousins and grandfathers and all that sort of stuff. So really, if a virus came out of like the permafrost or something like that, it would probably go, wow, well,
okay,
I think I probably have enough genetic memory in me that I could take you on.
The one that they found like recently had like, I want to get the specifics on it. And it was like a D.
Yeah.
And that made philosophers or like and stuff. But there was one called Baba Vanga, right, who made this prophecy that in the future there would be a virus that would cause you to rapidly age, and it would be like a DNA virus.
Ooh.
The Siberian permafrost is releasing this like DNA virus. People start like waking up in their 80.
Dude, first off, that's crazy, terrifying, and it would make a hell of a plot hook.
What kind of campaign? Shit.
You walk into the village and you notice that everyone's over 80 years old, including the elves.
Yes! Including the elves.
Including the elves.
Normal.
Yeah, like that's how you know that shit's going on. Then, oh no, some of your characters start aging, except for the ones that are immune to diseases, like the paladin and the monk.
Yeah.
You're just so quick to like clap that. What was it, bug?
Got him too.
Sam don't fuck around.
All right, so what is our
Connection's rough tonight.
Oh,
I blame the storm.
Yeah, it must be the hurricane. I'm sure our gracious editor will be able to cut it all together. He's been asking for a little.
You know what? Speaking of which, shout out to Fenico, the sugar daddy of the show this month.
Honestly, you're doing great.
Fenico covered the cost of podcasting for this month, and we are very grateful for that. Got that.
While we may not support the corporations like Walmart, we do support you paying our editor. Everybody. Give us a sponsor.
Talking about Walmart last night with a couple of our guys, because I decided to go drinking with the Nerd Militia boys. What could go wrong? One thing leads to another, and we're talking about everybody's criminal history with robbing Walmart.
Look, man, we all.
Everyone's been there.
I'm back.
Nothing you could. Hey, what's up? Welcome back.
Hey, you know what? I just suddenly it just disappeared. I thought the hurricane got you.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I could be blown away at any moment.
Go grab a drink and we'll take a bathroom break, and we'll be right back.
All right, you do that. It's times like no, he just likes to take.
Still going.
Yeah, we're still going. I can't.
I just gotta mute the mic, man.
Yeah.
So, tell me something. Over
Yes.
there in Maine, where you're at, right?
Right.
What kind of winds are you getting right now?
Honestly, they're relatively mild, but I've been seeing power lines down because of trees falling, and like in my area, like leaves everywhere, sticks everywhere, because there's just woods nonstop every direction you go.
Yeah, so 30-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah, just kind of like just knocking out all the sticks and weak branches.
Yeah.
Nothing too big, but it's been enough to knock out power in certain areas. Like my in-laws, they lost power. A bunch of people. Like I spent most of the day on the road, just driving all over the place. And so it's like, okay, seen quite a bit. And then I guess some of the in-laws wanted to go down to the coast and be like, we're gonna go watch the hurricane. It's like, yeah, you do that.
Not really. Yeah, no, that doesn't sound appealing at all. Because like when I was coming back from Guam, they had the thing over in Maui, right?
Right.
And so, because it was hurricane force winds that were going through there, because I guess hurricane went skirted next to it, next to the islands. And so I was on the plane, right? And there was a guy from the Red Cross that was flying from Guam over there, and he was like on the phone like constantly. The moment we touched down on the ground, arranging for this and that, and don't tell them to bring anything out. Just send us the equipment, blah blah blah. And it's like there was like it was, and then it wasn't until I got into the States that I realized the kind of problem that was going on, because I was like in the air for almost like a day, because it's like Guam's like a long ways away.
Yeah,
and I was like going, wow. Just winds, knocking down power lines, causing fires. And it's like in Guam, which back in May, they had a hurricane. Like all the trees on this entire island were knocked over, and all you could see was the roots coming up.
Damn.
Like imagine an entire island when all the trees are thing. And I'm like going, how am I going to use this for my next adventure?
Honestly, like, why waste a good disaster, a good catastrophe? Like if the government can't waste it, why should you?
I can't profit from a natural disaster, then no one should.
I don't know what I came back to, but I support it.
Your wholehearted disbelief in our ability to go on without you is really encouraging.
If I can't support my co-host and his beliefs, what can I do?
He's been very supportive this past week and a half. Wild shit.
So how did you two meet? Tell me something.
Funny story.
I laugh every time I think of this story.
All right, so we were both at the Job Corps. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like a trade school. We were both in the welding class at the time.
Good to be in a trade. It's good to be in a trade.
I recommend it. If your life is going nowhere and you want something to do, go to like a trade school.
Right.
But so one day I was just like, you know what? Switch up the schism, send it. Walk up to Orion, this beautiful. You seem cool. Can I touch you?
Why, yes, you can.
And little did he know, I started a beautiful friendship. We both together. Think about.
So this is basically from school. You guys basically met each other in school.
Yeah, essentially. I think that's where a lot of good friendships start, really.
We've played in games together. We've played games together. He's in my current game. He's been my DM. He's been my player.
Kind of switch it up.
At least you have someone that's willing to switch up with you. That's
Yeah,
a
for sure,
great
for
thing.
sure.
Because you don't want to be
It's
the forever
tough.
DM.
I
Do you get
yeah.
a little
I'm glad-
bit of thing like going, do I hold back or do I go balls to the wall as a player when going from DM to player? Because all the hell that those players put me through, I get a one chance to get behind. Once they get behind that screen,
Like,
It's
baby,
tough
I'm waiting
because
for this.
I try not to be the problem player, but at the same
You're
time,
sympathetic.
I'm sympathetic, but at the same time, I also like to cause problems to a degree because like I'm a very creative type where it's just like creative spell casting. What can I do with this spell? Like, what can I really do that I shouldn't be able to?
Right.
You're gonna push it to the edge.
Exactly.
Well, it's technically speaking, it's supposed to be an area of effect kind of spell. Actually, but that means it's a concentration spell. So I'm going to sit over here and really concentrate.
Yeah.
I like
how
just getting
big of a
super
group do you
creative
do?
with shit. It's fun.
How big of a group? Do you like keep it small? You like 4, or you go big?
We have 4 players.
It kind of fluctuates though, because sometimes players come and go.
Yeah. We kind of have like a consistent 4 at the moment.
So have you done anything over like do conventions and that sort of stuff? Do you go to Gen Con and run games or not?
I have not, but I would love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, one of these days I would love to do the podcast live from a convention. That'd be a lot of fun.
I'd like to do a freaking thing in front of an audience.
Something, yeah.
Oh, for sure. That'd be fun. We have contemplated doing it from the metaverse, like have avatars and like do it all in like a yeah. I can't imagine there's too many podcasts that do that. You know, that seems like it'd be kind of niche, kind of interesting.
It could be.
I don't know. I think that maybe going more retro, theater of the mind,
maybe
spoken word kind of gameplay, and where it's not quite. It's hard because I'm thinking, boy, there's a lot of lag time in an actual game to make a podcast actually fill in,
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's like if we have an awkward silence like right now.
Yeah.
You can fill it in.
This is
when
true.
You have an awkward silence in a game, you're basically like, okay, I'm looking up stuff. I'm going to have to now take it and re-edit it.
Yeah, it's not like you can just have a soundboard on speed dial for weird shit and where you can just be like...
Speaking of soundboards, now would be a good time for you to hit your Descriptify.
I never got that one set up. I've been busy this week. I had it recorded. I have a very weird Descriptify this week, though. I think you'll enjoy this if my internet loads proper, because connections are dumb this week.
It is.
So I wasn't sure what to go for a descriptive word, so
Ooh,
I decided to die coughing. I decided to ask NerdBot. On our server, we have a little bit of an AI mascot, and I asked NerdBot, I need a D&D descriptive word that will really kind of something unique. And he proceeds to make up a word, and I am gung-ho for it. Yes! Introducing kleptomancy.
Stealing with magic, please.
Yes. Yes.
You couldn't do that with...
I thought it was funny.
They're like stealth magic. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, it said like Nerdbot says kleptomancy is the magical art of divination by stealing, where objects are stolen. Where the objects stolen are believed to contain hints or clues of future events. It's like, ooh, that's interesting. I might be able to use that. Might have to make a kleptomancy wizard as a subclass. Throw that. Throw that on the Patreon.
Like a wizard rogue.
Yeah, because like there's a magic subclass for the rogue, but this would be a rogue-like subclass for the wizard. You know, it'd be the answer to it.
Okay.
Yeah, because like you got arcane trickster, kleptomancy. Like okay, you got the sneaky wizard.
Maybe your magic is like focused around like. This could be kind of cool.
Honestly, it kind of makes me think like Konosuba, where like Kazuma's like, steal.
Magic.
Yeah. Not a normal descriptify, but I thought it was kind of neat.
It's a fun one. It's good to come up with things sometimes. I like it.
Gotta hand it to our mascot Nerdbot. Maybe Paco will come back online too soon, because Forrest is getting his stuff back together with his internet and whatnot.
Alright, looking at the time here, maybe a good move to go into our home.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, generic realm people. It's always sunny there. I have. Do you want to go first, or should I, Sam?
I think I went first last time. You can go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna switch on over to the fluffy folio, because right here I present. Oh shit! It went. Oh no! I got lost in the thing. Sam, how about you take over while I have to scroll? They made a lot of stuff in the fluffy folio, and then like my thing got lost in the shuffle. Don't tell me I gotta keep on scroll. Oh no, I gotta scroll for a while.
And you gaze upon many other homebrew, and you take a lot of ideas from other homebrew, and you start to craft kind of a Ship of Theseus style. Is it the shame? Is it the same homebrew that you started with? Is it the same ship?
Is it?
All right, I can only stop for so long with bullshit, Orion. Come on. Come on.
Well, let me just see if I can like search it again. The internet has been just fucky all night. I blame the storm.
I can go ahead and do mine if you would like.
Yes, that would work.
Today, played it in our last camp, and it is gear, whatever have it, and it is pretty much the Alphonse character for D&D. If you are a Full Metal Alchemist fan, it is pretty much. Read it in detail because I am blind and I need to zoom in.
It does help.
No longer occupies an organic form, but has been removed and bound to another form. Most commonly a suit of armor, though in rare cases a golem or shield guardian. This magic is beyond most mortal casters and is most often the result of a divine intervention. Rare and not widely known, often being mistaken for common monsters such as helmed horrors, animated armors, or golems. All right, moving into one of the for soulbound will never grow in a motion. Soulbound typically outlive their organic counterparts' expected lifespan. They often struggle with keeping their memories in order or recalling specific events more than a few decades later. Many
Sounds
soulbound
tough.
also have longing for the taste of food and drink, other comforts of the flesh that they're incapable of experiencing. They want to fuck, man.
Don't we all? Honestly.
Don't- All right, hold on. Pull up the next page here. All right. So going into the here we go. We have a mortal armored form. Contains two piercing motes of light through which the soulbound perceives the world. The armor responds to external pressure and physical contact as if it is filled, occupied in the soulbound. A soulbound is both blind and deaf if the helmet or hood is removed. Most light and medium armored soulbounds that aren't equipped with
He dropped, but we brought him back.
Yeah.
welcome back. A soulbound's pieces are tethered to one another magically through a fire. All right. So getting into the racial traits here. Constitution cases to be a magical hair. However, mentally and emotionally, one is limited to the maturity of the age and race of the soul itself when it was bound. To suffer memory traumas. The maximum age for a soulbound has not yet been determined. It depends mostly on a soulbound's lifestyle and exposure to risk.
Makes sense.
I made was to kind of on the armor obviously has a weight according to the kind of armor it is bound to, but your size is ultimately medium. So commonly with these kind of characters, you'll see the living construct feature. You are a in addition, you are immune to poison conditions, sleep. You do not need to eat. Recover HP from potions. As a soulbound, you receive only one half from recovery dice during a short or long. So, because I guess this does make a lot of sense for me. As obtained.
Right.
Wouldn't you use mend? I mean, wouldn't that be your cure wounds?
The armor kind of mends itself. It doesn't really. In a way, it does.
It's interesting.
I mean, you're still dropping HP, right? You're in combat.
Yeah,
you're dropping HP.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, you will hit like unconsciousness, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So the recovery from that, since you only get half the amount from a short or long rest, right? Means that you would be you're running with the existing hit points from what you would get from your AC, or is this like what
depends.
In most games that I've been in, DMs usually allow you to use the mend cantrip to expend, like, say, a hit die for healing.
Body the armor, and you do kind of use mend sort of.
But I mean, if I went with a golem option, say with the spirit valve, then I could probably use the same kind of recovery thing. Like if I was a flesh golem, it would be lightning. If it was fire or an iron. So those spells would be actually my cure wounds.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Ooh, I do like the alternative there, because, like, if it makes sense, if it fits, it ships.
If you can heal a construct,
Yeah,
whatever way that applies.
I was wondering how that worked with like fresh cut grass.
Yeah, right. How he gets healed? Like, does he kind of just like remend his armor? Like, that's kind of what I'm.
Where is
like,
his arc welder? And where does he keep it?
Right.
You know?
He's cool. Or a picture like repair. There's nothing to flood, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you would just kind of coat the armor, I guess.
I don't know. Fresh coat of paint and some Bondo, and you're set. You know?
Yeah.
It is very interesting.
Yeah. As a soulbound, you gain advantage on all death saving throws. A soulbound can recover hit points through a ritual you innately know, requiring no material components to cast. The ritual, the ritual fully restores.
Oh, that's
in
your short
place of
rest.
a long rest, right? In place of your long rest or your short rest, you would do this ritual.
Oh, so basically you're like an elf. You only need half a long rest.
This is like how Warforged entered that like inactive state.
Oh,
yeah.
The sense. I would kind of picture it like that. You enter like a
It makes sense.
I'm just like a little bit worried about leveling up. If I don't have anything that I could that I keep experience from, that how the heck do I level up as a character if I'm stuck in a suit of armor?
Well, what's interesting about that, and I will get into that in a minute.
I have all kinds of questions.
He's got answers. Here we go.
Okay.
A soulbound gains the benefits except for the restored HP of a long rest after 4 hours. The time taken to cast the reparation ritual. The effects of exhaustion.
Yeah.
For every 30 minutes spent in your inert state.
Okay.
All right. And then we have naturally armored. As a soulbound, your body is composed of a magical material that makes with armor. To be proficient in the armor you are bound to, and any spell or ability that treats a creature armored in metal differently considers you to be armored as such. How it kind of interacts with, magic.
This brings
metal.
Okay, not to piss on your parade or anything like that. I'm just like going, okay, now here I have a question. What if I get a shield? I can have shields.
Yeah.
But I can't have extra armor.
Yeah, you can't wear like a helmet on top of your helmet. Like,
I'm just wondering how many plates I can weld onto my keister.
An Anubis domain, like cleric paladin kind of deal. I think I remember I had a shield or like a sword or something. I can't remember.
Because if I'm only getting one bonus on my AC,
but it also,
I definitely would want to get shields.
So you're like the armor.
Yeah.
I do kind of like this a lot. You have a very kind of heavy anti-magic susceptibility. You are incapacitated while in the area of an anti-magic field. The spell or fall unconscious for 1 minute. You're out.
I love what that could
that's
do,
like 10 rounds.
Yeah, like
that's 10 rounds.
That's major. It's like temporary death, really, at that point.
I like the idea because, like, having this weakness is like,
oh, I'd put a beholder in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't want to be anywhere near a beholder ever.
Yeah, or a rust monster.
You wouldn't think of you as like, she was like a See the deception.
So, hey, beholders.
Yeah,
Pretty much
beholders,
will
they don't
have that thing
Fucking-
on all times. I mean,
And maybe my favorite of this teapot. Size, who is then treated as if wearing armor of your type. You may have that creature ignore strength requirements to wear your armor. So the creature does not gain proficiency.
Well, we have talked about this before because it's basically fusion.
It is. You and the armor creature may each roll for all ability checks. Each same for dexterity. You and the armor creature might take your turn at the same time. You each roll initiative separately and take the lower of the two. Either of you may be proficient with the weapon or spell being used. Additionally, whichever creature does not make the attack roll on your turn may add his or her ability modifier to do so. Magic Girl transformation. Suddenly, you can wield my two-handed sword.
watch me destroy your action economy by putting 3 kobolds in plate mail.
What's really cool about this is time you and the armor creature disagree on a course of action, either may make a contested strength check against the other, determine the outcome.
That's great.
I was just like wondering, when do you guys get shared custody?
Yeah.
I'll take the torso this way. You take the legs that way.
That's beautiful.
Using this to capture to myself and then controlling them that way, like, because they can't attack me from the inside, they have to contest my strength boy, like.
You're a freaking Iron Maiden.
Welcome to hell.
Just add spikes and you do damage.
I feel like this would be amazing if you took the Artificer Armorer subclass.
So last but not least, let's get into the soulbound races, the sub races. We have the light armor, medium, and heavy. So with the light armor, your ability increases, your dexterity increases by 2, and your base speed is 35 feet.
Right.
Increases by 1, but that's 1, 2, and then the 1 on top of the normal. Your speed is 30 feet. Pretty standard for that. Heavy armor, strength increases by 1, constant. It's at 30 feet. So.
Oh no! This is awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta have a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in padded armor.
Dude, you just pull out like the.
I love
it. The boss from fucking Dark Souls, Big Hammer.
Dude, now hear me out. Like, if we're gonna go absurd armor, what about some Mad Max tire armor?
Oh dude.
I love this, and I love for my. You can just do so much with it, and I had a lot of fun playing this race when I got the chance to.
You could totally do Master Blaster.
Yeah.
You could totally do Master Blaster with this thing. You could just set a chair on your back and carry around hobbits. You just like
he's right.
A chair.
Oh God.
You could not only you could have a mounted weapon on your helmet. Like a heavy crossbow. Just crank them out.
I love it. It's beautiful.
You'd be a crew for.
I like that one a lot. I give it a good 9.
Now, how would the chainmail work? Because that would be your okay. Medium is chain shirt. Heavy would be chain
plate.
Oh, chainmail.
Oh,
it's basically doesn't have any
Right.
Well, exoskeleton, really.
I would assume it'd just kind of like take like a generic form, or maybe you'd be a very barrel-chested piece of armor.
Yeah, I imagine it'd probably be like the thick leather with like the chainmail on top. You know,
Oh, so you like fill it out. You'd look like a.
like medium, I think.
So, but when you go into the inactive state, would you just be a clump? You'd like inflate when you active. You go DV.
I love the idea of you just like going to your inactive state and then waking up to some asshole trying to put you on.
Yeah, dude, I always love the idea of like Warforged and these having this. If they remain motionless for, that would be fucking cool.
I love it. I'm still I'm still stuck on the weld a chair to his back part.
Platform saddles are a thing in Ark. Why not?
Oh, it's like if you could, take advantage of the situation you got there,
And it doesn't say that it has to be medium sized, right?
No,
You could have like large size armor. You could have barding for a horse. You could have.
He could be a horse armor.
It could be horse armor. Your size is medium.
Size,
okay, so it does have a limitation there.
So pony armor.
Well, that makes a mastiff.
We did discuss one very fun thing to do with this during the campaign you were playing that, and the whole party was getting together on this one. The concept of multiple people getting together to make this happen. One person with using like the giant rune thing that makes you grow. It's like, okay, you merge with the person that can use the rune knight shit to go up a size class, then have another person yes, and then have another person slap and enlarge on top of that, and then like so multiple instances of enlarge, and then other characters like coming together.
You can't stack that.
You would create like
you think gargantuan after like 4 freaking wizards got a hold of you.
Well, the idea is like with the party was working together so much on this, I was like, okay, the concept that y'all are coming together to make a Megazord is fine in my book.
I love it.
And I'll form the head.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously. Like the kobold wanted to get up on the shoulder and basically be like a blaster cannon. Because kobold wizard that can fly. It's like, okay, wizard shooting out a lightning bolt. We got so you got your heavy artillery shoulder.
Wait. You're shooting lightning bolts while standing on a metallic object.
You also had the idea
I don't judge.
I don't judge.
Using what was the word? Like a fucking like a Trojan horse. I walked up. They're like, oh shit, this big boy. Suddenly I open up and there's a wizard inside.
You could be the Trojan horse.
Like cast spells while wearing me and gaining like the benefits of it. It's like you're protected while inside and you can cast big spells. Oh man.
You would drive the druid insane if you encased a druid.
Yes.
Release me.
It's great. I love it.
You just start shifting it to random animals.
It's like I'm becoming a freaking snake and I was crawling out of here.
Suddenly, like a rhino pops out my chest.
I'm coming out.
All right, that's great.
So, Ryan, what do you got?
Okay, I present to you from the Fluffy Folio. Check out their Patreon, guys. Cool shit all day, every day.
I love their stuff.
I do want to say shout out to Grey Pilgrim 33 for creating the Soulbound race. I don't know if I give you your plug. I love it.
Well, hey, it's in the description, so people can check that out if they want to. And moving on to the Sword.
The Sword.
Yeah, the Sword. So Stalwart. Well, I'm already failing at speaking. Stalwart, courageous, and a little bit edgy. It may be tiny, but the sword stands tall, unbroken. It fights those aggressively threatening its quest. It is the most adventurous among its kin. A crusader roaming through hostile lands and dangerous empires. Occasionally, the sharp-witted soldier bands up with daring adventurers and offers its services to those deemed worthy enough. Being swirled around its something... Swirled around its something? What the fuck are y'all writing over here? The sword highly appreciates, but it will do as it must to repel the enemy. Sharp tongue. The sword is chivalrous and considers itself eloquent. When speaking, it often uses idioms, although some would consider them to be cheap word puns related to swords, blades, and sharp tools in general. So it's a tiny construct sword that's like it's a warrior. It has a sword in hand, but it is a sword.
Right. Okay, so it's a sword holding a sword.
Yes,
It's a hand and a half.
yeah. It's
Alright,
It's a CR 1/2. It like this. The stats are nothing to write home about outside. It's got a Dex of 17, a Con of 18. Everything else is pretty standard. Strength is of 4. Yeah. It's tiny because it's a sword, but it does have some. It does have some special traits. Immutable form. The sword is immune to any spell or effect that would alter its form. False appearance. While the sword remains motionless and hides its weapon, it is indistinguishable from any ordinary sword.
That's hilarious. I just love the idea of like you swing, miss her, like miss, sword pulls out a knife.
Exactly.
Like what the? Oh my god!
Have at thee, you
Bring a sword
rapscallion!
to a sword fight? How dare you?
The sword brings a gun to a sword fight.
Oh god!
Oh, dude. The next trait, it's got hard-headed. A creature grappling the sword can use its bonus... Wait, a creature grappling the sword can use its bonus action to make a melee attack using damage dice of the sword's headbutt. The sword is considered a long sword for the attack. Only a target other than the sword can be attacked in this way. If the attack hits the target, the sword can use its reaction to make a melee attack against the target with its pesky sword. So you can pick it up to attack somebody, and then it's like, I'm stabbing too, and it just like jabs them in the thumb.
It makes me think of what was that Borderlands character, Shooty McShootface or whatever. Oh, please shoot me in the face.
Okay, so it's got multi-attack. Its headbutt is exactly what you think it is. It's doing slashing damage by trying to stab somebody with its head, with the blade. Pesky sword is its little tiny sword where it does a d4 plus 3. So it's like fighting with a toothpick. Right. And its reaction is a parry. So it can add 2 to its AC against one melee attack that would hit it. To do so, the sword must see the attacker and be wielding a melee weapon.
Huh. It's sword.
This thing it's kind of cute, and you can make it look like whatever you want as far as swords go.
Is it like sentient?
Yes. It's a tiny construct and lawful neutral. Just a little sword running around with its own sword and shield.
Oh, man.
Take me seriously.
I love when things like have personalities and like they're always like
No, it's Clippy. It's the Clippy of freaking D&D. It comes up and asks you, it looks like you're trying to stab someone. How can I help?
Yes, it is sword Clippy.
I always just love when like inanimate objects just have a desire to stab things.
Dude,
I mean, it has to have anime eyes and like a little like scrawled grin on its face. It's like Yes. I'm looking at stabbing someone, but let me click you off right now.
Dude, I love this thing. It's adorable. It's great.
What's the rarity?
There is no rarity. It's not an item. It's a construct.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a
Yeah. It's a CR 1/2. So it's just like...
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's Fluffy
what you're telling
Folio
me
does
is
these great little
this could be my familiar.
great little monsters. Just like the plants, the little sproutlings. They got great stuff, man.
CR1/2s can be familiars, can't they?
Okay. Well, you know what? If your DM's cool with it, have a Hexblade Warlock with a Pact of the Tome.
Yes, Pact of the Blade.
Oh no, yeah. No. Pact of the Tome because is it the Tome? Or Pact of the Chain. Pact of the Chain Warlock is the one that gets the buffs for the familiar. So like you're out here with your little familiar, and your familiar is a sword.
Oh my god! And then your familiar can get a familiar, which is also a sword with a sword. And just a chain.
Imagine fighting an army of these.
Oh my god! Every sword has a sword with a sword. Holy shit!
It'd be like Disney's Fantasia.
God,
You know?
Yes.
Apprentice.
One attack 4 times. Amazing.
You go into a situation and it's straight Fantasia, like party's marching along, and you look over to the distance and you see what looks like a bunch of just pointy objects in the distance, glinting off the sun. As you approach closer, you find that these objects just seem to be a bunch of swords just kind of bouncing along the road. As you edge even closer, you see that these swords have swords in tiny hands and little boots marching in lockstep across the road.
Oh god!
With one rather ornate sword in the front, leading the charge. Attention! About face!
Oh no! This can be so abused. I can so abuse this. That's not a lawn.
Good.
That is an army. Every blade of grass, blade, sir.
Artificer just got lost in the sauce and couldn't stop making them.
Well, they made
like
it a
it. 10 out of
cantrip
10.
for me to do copy. What can I say?
10 out of 10. I like it.
Yeah, I think... that's definitely a great place to kind of wrap up the show for the night. So, Mark, where can people find you?
I'm on anything that says #GnomeDepot, but you can find me on as the Gnome Depot on Twitter. I'm _Gnome Depot _ on Instagram. I think I'm straight Gnome Depot on TikTok.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm all over the place.
I remember first coming across your stuff on Reddit.
Yeah, I have my own little thing on Reddit. It's just basically everything I got is on Reddit. 'Cause I was making too many to do on D&D memes. They just didn't like me after a while.
He can't be contained, people. Check out the Gnome Depot anywhere Gnome Depots are sold.
Just #Gnome Depot and you'll find my stuff.
I love it. Thanks for coming on the show. You've been great.
No problem.
It was great having you. Nice.
All right.
All right. Well, everybody, y'all have a great weekend, and we look forward to next week.
Hell yeah.